Hey everyone, Namaskar dosto. Welcome back to another episode of Talking the Maths, the channel where we just give our views and talk no bullshit. So today we're going to talk about a movie which released just about 9 days ago. मूवी का नाम है जयेश भाई जोरदार. It was a highly anticipated film by Ranveer Singh. Considering um, today Ranveer Singh is actually one of the A-list actors and probably one of the big stars, right? Rajneesh in Bollywood, apart from Ranbir Kapoor, and I think these two are probably at a different level among the youngsters. So Jayesh Bhai Jodha released
True.
on 13th May, and it turned out to be one of the biggest flop, definitely the biggest flop of Ranveer's career, and one of the biggest flops in recent times. We know that Bollywood has been having a tough time. So Jersey failed, Heropanti failed, Runway 34 failed, now Dhakar failed. Lot of
Target is
disasters
failing.
these movies. So reports say that the production budget for this movie was anywhere between 60 to 90 crores, Rithnesh, and the movie only earned 23 crores. 23 crores in its entire. The movie did get pretty decent
I don't find that
reviews.
shocking. I mean Jayesh White Jordar doing not that well. I don't find it that shocking. But
Yeah,
yeah, it is what
yeah.
it is.
Considering the fact that Ranveer Singh has
It's
tremendous star
expected it
power.
wasn't doing well, but yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is what me and Ratnesh were iterating, that there is something terribly wrong with not just the script in Bollywood, but also other aspects like marketing, timing of a movie's release and everything. Because I'll give you a best
True.
example. So Jersey and Attack, both movies received an IMDb rating of more than 7.5 out of 10, which is pretty good. And both of them failed miserably at the box office because one released with RRR and the other one released with KGF2, which is idiotic to say the least, and we'll talk.
Movie.
Mhm.
However, you are releasing it against some giants like RRR and KGF.
Yeah,
And
so
you
that is
saw what happened. It was expected.
expected, and but we cannot say the same about Heropanti 2, Runway 34, and some other movies that released alongside KGF. They failed because of poor script, poor execution. But Jayesh Bhai Jodhar got decent reviews. There were people who were very disappointed with the movie, but on average, the IMDb rating is around 7.8, which is a pretty good rating for a movie. So I think there are many
Oh,
reasons why Jayesh Bhai Jodhar failed. The first and foremost, I would say, his pre-release buzz was close to zero. I would say it was less than zero. We didn't even realize that this movie is coming out until it was Friday, and Ratish
hmm.
called me and said, "Have you watched or have you started following Jayesh Bhai Jordar?" And there was absolutely no effort from the producers or the team to market the movie well. There was zero pre-release buzz, and it released alongside Sarkari Ware Patu, which went on to make more than 200 crores. Mahesh Babu's new blockbuster, and KGF2 was also doing very well during its
Oh,
fourth week at the box office. So I wouldn't say the timing was wrong because KGF2 is in its final legs. As we know, KGF2 has become an all-time blockbuster, guys, and has now crossed 1,200 crores lifetime collections worldwide. So I wouldn't say KGF2 affected Jayesh Bhai Jordar. In fact, the theater owners and the multiplexes had allocated more than 70% of their screens to Jayesh Bhai Jodhar. KGF had lost 70% of its screens to Jayesh Bhai Jodhar and still ended up making more money in its fourth weekend than Jayesh Bhai Jodhar in its first weekend, guys. It is unbelievable. It's a historic failure. It is very funny,
it's
but it is also sad at the same time because
it's quite amusing.
talking about the numbers, Ratnesh, the numbers were around 4 crores each day for the first 3 days. So for a total of 12 to 13 crores in its first weekend, which is so poor, considering that I'm not comparing everything with KGF, but just to give you guys an idea, KGF made around 400 crores in its first 3 to 4 days. RRR also made similar amounts. But we can say, okay, those are pan India films. But if you just look at the Hindi version numbers, KGF pulled in about 137 crores in 3 days. One
Unbelievable,
thirty
man.
one
That's
thirty seven
that,
crores
that is
around one.
apparently KGF Hindi version has become the second highest ever grossing
Yes, yes,
Hindi film after
yes,
Bahubali 2 conclusion. It's so amusing that the top two highest grossing Hindi movies
yes, guys, that's true.
aren't
KGF two
exactly traditionally Hindi movies.
KGF two has now crossed 435 crores at the Hindi belt, which is the second highest of all time after Bahubali 2, and it's still going. So maybe it might end its lifetime at 440, 450 crores, which is ridiculous. And the next closest movie is Dangal at, I think, 387 crores. So we don't want to reignite the South versus Bollywood debate. That's we already spoke about that in a previous video. We just wanted to quickly talk about Jayesh Bhai Jordar. So yes, a huge flop, a historic flop, if you can call it an all-time flop. We usually say all-time blockbuster, so we are saying an all-time flop for Jayesh Bhai Jordar. Continuing
I
the
feel this Jayesh Bhai Jodhar is a OTT movie, Abhilash. It's not a movie that's supposed to be in theaters and people are going to go and watch. Just release in OTT. They should have just released in OTT and people would have just watched it up like on after their work and Monday night or a weekday night, even a weekend.
तो मैंने और रत्नेश ने इसके बारे में प्रीवियस वीडियो में बात किया है. There are OTT movies, there are cinema only movies, and there are movies which come to cinema and then go to OTT. For me personally, and as Ratnesh said, Jayesh Bhai Jordar is an OTT only movie. To be very honest, I would rather have preferred if COVID was not there last year to see movies such as Jai Bhim and Joji on the big screen, because usme there was a marvelous aspect to it. Joji, the cinematography and that haunting background music would have been really nice in the theaters, right, Ratnesh?
True. Joji was a gem of a movie.
Gem of a movie. So
those of you who don't know what Joji is, I would highly suggest you go to Amazon Prime. Do check out Joji. I mean, it's in Malayalam. You'll have the subtitles in English, but do check out that movie. That is the epitome of a proper screenplay, a proper background score, a proper BGM, a fine class A class level of performance by Fahad Fasil and other cast.
Yeah, adding on to that, guys, if you really want to watch Malayalam movies, there are hundreds of movies we can recommend you. We can do a video about that later. So we will just quickly recommend Joji, and do go watch The Great Indian Kitchen as well. It's a very good movie, and Ritesh watched The Great Indian Kitchen.
I would also recommend The Great Indian Kitchen, and also recommend the Garuda Gamana in ZEE5. That is also one of the finest movies that you could ever come across. That's a Kannada movie, however.
So we will do a recommendation for that in another video. So we'll just wrap up this video.
Yeah, some other video we can do that.
We'll wrap up this video saying very disappointed with Jayesh Bhai Jordar, because first of all, it was Ranveer Singh's movie after the debacle of 83. So it's now been 2 back-to-back flops for Ranveer Singh, which is very alarming, to say the least. And most